There is one trading strategy that I use every single day. It's stupid simple, incredibly reliable, and it's the reason why I'm able to make consistent profits in the market day in and day out. The strategy that I'm about to share with you today is so simple that even a complete beginner cannot mess this up. But here's the crazy part. 95% of traders completely ignore this one candle that could change their entire trading career. I'm going to show you the full 8 a.m. break and retest strategy along with 3 simple steps on exactly how you can execute this. And I'll prove to you why this single candle is more powerful than any indicator, any levels, or anything that you've ever used before. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into it. In the past 3 months, since July, I have made over $182,000 trading this exact strategy that I'm going to show you today. And right below is my P&L graph showing exactly how consistent this strategy has been for me. These aren't lucky trades. This is the result of understanding one simple concept that most traders never ever learn. So you guys see my results, but the real question is, how can you do the same? And this is exactly what I'm about to share with you in today's video. So what actually is this strategy? This strategy focuses entirely on one candle, the 8 a.m. candle on the 15-minute time frame right here. Here's what most traders don't understand. The 8 a.m. candle isn't just any random candle. This candle represents the final positioning of institutional money before the New York market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Think about it. While retail traders are still sleeping, the big institutions are already positioning themselves. By 8 a.m. Eastern, they've shown their hand. They've created a zone of liquidity that they will defend throughout the entire session. So instead of trying to predict where the market will go, we simply wait for the market to show us where the smart money has already positioned themselves. And that happens every single day at 8 a.m. sharp. The beauty of this strategy is that it only requires 2 hours of your time per day to trade. I only focus on trading between 9 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because this is when the volume comes in, meaning this is when we want to be trading. The first thing we do is we mark out the whole candle from 8 to 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time just like this. The first thing you need to do is you need to go to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I highly recommend using this indicator called FXN Asian Session Range by Rob Minty right here. It's completely free. Once you have this indicator installed, I recommend making sure that your time zones are actually correct. All this indicator does is show you when each session starts and stops. Here's a little walkthrough of my settings real quick so that you guys can screenshot it and make sure that you have the same settings as me. The only important settings are the start and the stop time. Don't worry about the colors and all that other stuff. Now that we have a clear idea of exactly where the New York session starts right here at 8 a.m., we are going to take this rectangle tool right there, and we are going to mark out the entire candle from the top wick all the way down to the bottom wick. The other thing that we are going to do is we are going to go on this settings part right here for the rectangle that we just marked out, and we are going to make sure that we have this checked. The important part about having your midline is that this midline acts as an inflection point, meaning it shows us areas where we are likely to have a potential reversal, and you guys will see exactly how that comes into play a little bit later in the video. Step number 2, once you have your New York open zone marked out, you're going to go to the 1-minute time frame and you're going to wait for a break above or below this zone. And the key thing here is that you want this break to happen at around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or anytime after that. If it happens before that, it's likely that we don't have enough volume for this zone to actually give us the move that we're looking for. All right, guys, so you can see that it's currently around 9:30 a.m. in this example, and we just had a clear break to the top of this zone, meaning I'm going to look for longs. And when I like to take my entry, guys, I take my entry right around this midpoint. So what I do is I place my entry at this midpoint and I place my stop loss around 5 points below this midpoint, and I like to target around 15 points, right? So let's see how this trade plays out. I'm gonna go ahead and hit play, see if it was a winner or a loser. Boom, order filled. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Still in the trade, all good. A little choppy, but we're still in. Boom, guys, 15 points, take profit. That's what we do. I'm gonna show you guys exactly why I placed my stop loss where I did in this example so you can understand exactly how to trade this strategy. The reason I placed my stop loss slightly below this Asia low is because Asia low will often act as a magnet for price. So when I am looking at price, I want to look at clear zones of invalidation, meaning how do I know I am wrong? And if price were to come to this Asia low, it would have been pretty clear to me that I was wrong and that it was time to get out of the trade. This was an actual trade that I took on my live futures account. I ended up making around $5,000 off of this trade. Now you might be wondering, why does the retest work so consistently? Let me explain the psychology behind it. When price first breaks out of the 8 a.m. zone, it's like the institutions are making their first move, but they're not done yet. They need to accumulate more positions at better prices. So what do? They let price come back to retest the level they just broke. This serves 2 purposes. It shakes out weak hands who think that the breakout failed, and it allows them to add to their positions at better prices. The retest also creates what I like to call trapped liquidity. These are people who sold the breakout, who thought that it was a fake, or people who were waiting for a better entry. When price starts moving away from the retest level, these traders are forced to cover their positions, adding fuel to the move. This is why the retest entry has such a high success rate. You're not just trading a technical level, you're trading institutional psychology. Now you're probably thinking, this sounds too good to be true, so I'm going to show you some more examples from this week on exactly how profitable this strategy is. I showed you Monday's example. This was a live trade that I took, catching 15 points, making me $5,600 on my live account. Now let's go to Tuesday and see how this worked. We are now on Tuesday's chart. Let's go ahead and start with step 1, marking out the first 15-minute candle from 8 to 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Step 1 has been completed. Now let's go to step 2, which is going to be to go on the 1-minute time frame and identify the break. Looking like we are breaking out to the downside, everybody, meaning I am going to be looking for shorts off of a retest of the zone. Real quick, I'm going to pause it so you guys can see exactly how I take my entry. It's very clear to me that we are breaking out to the downside, so that means that I'm going to look for shorts. My entry is going to be right at this midpoint, and my stop loss is going to be slightly above the top of the zone. I'm targeting 15 points, so my risk to reward is about 1 to 4. Let's go ahead and see how this trade plays out, guys. See if we can get filled. Nope, not filled yet. Boom, order filled in that trade. Let's see if it plays out. Boom. 15 points, that's what we do, everybody. We actually ended up catching a little bit more than 15 points if we were to let that trade run, but we don't get greedy. We are scalpers, followed the plan, absolute win. On that specific trade that I just showed you guys, I made around $6,000. Now we're on Wednesday's chart. Let's go ahead and test this strategy once again and see if it's still profitable. As always, we're going to start with step 1, which is marking out our zone. Zone is marked out. Now we're going to wait and see which direction price wants to break to. We're going to go on the 1-minute time frame though, so we can identify a clear entry. Let's see. Okay guys, it appears that price is breaking out to the upside, meaning I'm gonna go ahead and look for longs. So I'm gonna take my little tool like so. I'm gonna put my entry at the midpoint. As always, I'm gonna have my stop loss slightly below this zone, right next to this low. Let's see if it plays out. Alrighty guys, let's see if we can get filled on this trade. Boom, filled in that trade, filled again. Out of that trade for 15 points, that is what we do, everybody. I promised you I would show you results, and that's exactly what I'm doing. We did have some news that day, so I wasn't risking as much money, but I made around $4,300 on that specific trade right there. Now we are on Thursday's chart. Let's see if this strategy still works. Marking out our 8 a.m. candle, like so. And the thing to remember here, guys, is we did have some news at around 8:45, so I'm honestly just not gonna pay too much attention to anything happening before 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when I'm using this strategy, because news is not something that we can predict. Trading news is gambling, so we just avoid that and we wait until 9:30, which is when the institutional money comes in and when we can actually find some clean moves. So we are going to go down to the 1-minute time frame, and as you guys can see, it appears that we are breaking above this zone, so we are going to do what we usually do. We are going to go ahead and put our stop loss slightly below this zone, like so, about 5 points. We are going to have our entry right there, and we are going to target 15 points. Let's see if we can make some money, guys. Breaking out, breaking out, breaking out. Boom, just got filled in that trade. We are in that trade. Filled again. Boom. That is what we do, everybody. Just like I said, I'd show you results. Here they are. That trade ended up being pretty much one of the best spots to long for the entire day on Thursday, which is really cool. You can actually, where I entered this trade actually ended up being one of the best spots to enter longs on Thursday. So it's pretty cool to see just how accurate this strategy is. We had news that morning, so once again, I wasn't risking as much money, but I made around $6,000 on that specific trade. We are now on Friday's chart, so let's see if this strategy worked every single day of the week. We have our 8 a.m. candle marked out like so. We are now going to go to the 1-minute time frame and identify which direction price is breaking to. It appears that price is breaking out to the upside, meaning we are going to be looking for some longs. But today we're not going to look for as many points because we have a very clear all-time high level that's super close. So we're just going to go ahead and set our stop loss at about 4 points right next to that low. And we're just going to target this all-time high because price is likely to reverse when it hits this all-time high. So there's no need to be too greedy. Let's see how this trade plays out, everybody. We are filled in the trade. So let's see if we can go ahead and take out this high right here. Look decent there, but then we're rejecting off of that. It's definitely looking a little bit choppier today. Not as quick of a move as we usually get, but that's okay because we have defined risk and we know exactly where we are getting out of the trade. So there's no need to stress, right? A lot of you guys, your problem is you don't set your stop loss, you don't set your take profit, so you're stressed out while you're in the trade. Me, I set and then I just wait, right? I just wait to see what price is going to do, and it's looking like we're chopping around a little bit. So let's see, if we can't hit this before, the trade ends, then we'll have to get out of the trade, but it's looking decent now. Maybe we can take out this high. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Boom, took out that high, everybody. On that specific trade, I made around $4,300. I just showed you what a full week trading looks like using my strategy. I just gave you a strategy that can completely transform your trading. The 8 a.m. break and retest method works because it's based on how the market actually operates through institutional money flow. But here's the thing, knowing the strategy is only half of the battle. The other half is having the discipline to execute it consistently and the experience to recognize the bad setups. That's why I've opened up a limited number of spots in my exclusive mentorship program. Inside, you're not only going to master the strategy, but I will personally guide you to making your first $10,000 to $20,000 a month as a trader. We are going to hop on calls. I'm going to review every single trade that you take and give you feedback so that you can improve. And I'm literally going to hold your hand until you start getting payouts and making your first $10,000 to $20,000 a month as a trader. But here's the thing, this isn't some course, there isn't some buy now button. I only work with people who I know can succeed. So if you want to apply, click the link in the description of the video and I'll see if you're a good fit. Good luck to everyone who applies. And for those of you who get accepted, I am extremely excited to work with you and you are about to transform your trading forever. Thank you all for watching and have a great rest of your day.